everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here, of course. If you don't know me, my name is Sarah, and I'd like to welcome you to day 11 of the Crochet Christmas challenge. I can't believe that we are almost complete with this challenge. Feels like I just started yesterday, but it's day 11, and day 11 happens to be these adorable little manta rays. As with all the previous tutorials, I will be working with the size 6 plushy yarn. This is the color I'll be working in today, a very bright orange. And you'll only need one color for this tutorial, unless you are sewing the eyes on, in which you'll need an eye color, but you don't need very much of that, just a bit of scrap work. Along with your yarn, you will also need a corresponding crochet hook. As I said in my previous tutorials, a good rule of thumb is whatever size yarn you're working with, say a size 6, you'll use the same size crochet hook. So for this, we'll be working with a 6mm crochet hook. 6mm crochet hook. You also need a pair of scissors, a sewing needle, and a stitch marker for this tutorial. To begin this pattern, we will actually start with a chain of 5. Now we will skip this first chain and single crochet twice into the next chain. So an increase into the next chain. Then we will single crochet 2 times in the next 2 chains, just like that. Then we will increase in that last chain, 2 single crochets in that same chain. Now, working on the opposite side of the chain, into that same chain as before, we will increase again. So all in that chain, you should have 4 single crochets. In the next 2 chains, just single crochet once, just like so. Now in the final chain, we will increase. So there'll be a total of 4 stitches on this side as well. Now we will single crochet all the way around for 2 rounds, setting our stitch marker at the end of these rounds. Should have a total of 12 stitches. That's the end of that first round, and I'll repeat it once more, single crocheting in each stitch around. Once you've single crocheted for 2 rounds, we will begin round 4 by single crocheting 6. Now we will chain 4. Skip that first chain and single crochet into the next 3 chains. Now collecting that front post of that single crochet, go directly into the next stitch and single crochet. This will close up any gap you may have here. Now we will single crochet in the next 5 stitches. Before we end this round, we will chain 4, skip that first chain and single crochet in the next 3 chains. that is the end of round 4. Now for the next 2 rounds, we will just be single crocheting in each stitch. So using our little trick from earlier, begin that first single crochet, and you will single crochet 5 more. Now when we get to our chain 3 space, we will single crochet 3 along the chain, and then turning the piece, we'll single crochet in the next 3 stitches. There aren't any increases on the end of this, so just single crochet around regularly. You should have a total of 6 stitches on your chain space area. Then single crochet 6 and repeat this on the same side, on the other side. Just make sure that by the time you're finished, you have 24 stitches. Oy. Just tuck that right in, no big deal. Now this is your new end of round once you've crocheted all the way around this chain. So you can reset your stitch marker there, and that is the end of the round. Now single crochet all the way around one more time. There we have finished our 2 single crochet rounds, and you have the start of a manta ray. For round 7, we will single crochet in the next 7 stitches. And then we will decrease in the next 2 stitches. Single crochet in the next 8 stitches. And then decrease twice. Single crochet in that final remaining stitch. There we have our first decrease round. Now before we go any further in the pattern, we will be sewing our eyes on. I'd also like to share a quick trick in case your chain ended up a little bit loose like mine did. That didn't do it on this piece, but for some reason I just crocheted the chain a little bit looser. So taking your little tail that you have on the inside, we'll just go through and back in. And you don't want to hook too many stitches when you do this because you don't want it to be noticeable from the outside. But this will just close this right up and you won't have any more gap. Once you've finished closing it up, just secure that tail with a couple of knots. I do this by creating an archway and then slipping the tail underneath of it. And I'm going to do this twice to really secure the tail. You could also tie this tail to the eyes if you end up embroidering them on like I will be, but I'll just secure it directly to the piece. Then when you flip your piece back over, there are no more gaps and it's hardly noticeable. If you're working with a slightly different yarn where the stitches are more noticeable, you might have to do a little bit more of an invisible, or just be a little more careful about how you sew your chain. I'll be using this dark gray for the eyes on this piece. So insert your needle into the wrong side, and we'll be working, this is our first single crochet round. Leave a short tail and come up above it and just stitch the eye on like so. And you can do this however many times you want. I generally do this 3 to 4 times to get a nice round eye. Then moving over about 3 or 4 stitches away, stitch on your second eye. Okay, once you have finished stitching the eyes on, just tie the eyes together on the back side. And tuck all the tails into your piece and get them out of your way, just like so. Now continuing with the pattern, we will single crochet in the next 6 stitches. Then we will decrease twice. And we're going to repeat that once more. So single crochet in the next 6 stitches. And decrease twice. There we are, our second decrease round. Now for round 9, we will single crochet in the next 5 stitches. And then we will decrease twice. And then we will single crochet in the next 4 stitches. And decrease twice. Now your final decrease will overlap your, it'll overlap this round, and it's going to do this for the entire rest of the pattern. If you are still using a stitch marker, just reset the stitch marker right onto that final decrease. For this next round, we will single crochet 4, we'll single crochet 3, not 4. We will decrease twice. Then we will single crochet 2 and decrease twice. Again, the decrease will overlap. That is what it's supposed to do. Now at this point you can stuff, because we will not be able to do it in the next couple of rounds. I don't know if I said you needed stuffing in the beginning of this video. It will be on the items needed list, so just go ahead and stuff it until it is pretty firm. Now, after this next round, we will not be able to stuff it anymore very easily. So I like to just overstuff it a tiny bit so that I can massage the stuffing into place later once I complete the piece. So keep that in mind when you're working. For this next round, we will single crochet and then we will decrease 4 times. Now this might be a little bit tight for some of you, but this is so that the tail is skinny enough. Now at this point we will be single crocheting around for 6 rounds. I just like to count to 24 instead of keeping track of how many rounds I'm doing. And 24. Now in the next stitch, just go ahead and slip stitch, chain 1, and fasten off with about a medium length tail. I personally do not stuff the tail. You can if you want. I just find that it's not worth it to stuff the tail. What I like to do now is close up the piece. We're going to collect all the front loops of all these remaining stitches. Being difficult. There we are. And then we will secure this tail by creating an arch, slipping that string under it, and then we will tuck this tail in. What I like to do is bring this tail all the way down and into the body and pull it just a little tight. And this will give your tail a little bit of a curve. It's still movable, but just a tiny bit of a curve that will stay. Then tuck this tail, weave it in 3 or 4 times. Snip that tail, tuck in those fluffies, and there you have your very own manta ray. These guys are super quick. We haven't even reached the 20-minute mark, so they are perfect for stocking stuffers if you decide to make them with size 4 yarn, or they're perfect for gifting. I know the holiday season can be really busy, so all these patterns are fairly short on purpose. I would love to know down in the comments below what color you chose to work with and what size yarn you decided to use. And thanks for joining me on day 11. We just have 1 day left in this challenge. If you weren't here for the challenge, thanks for following this tutorial. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and do all those things. It really means a lot to me and I really appreciate it. So thank you all. I'm pretty excited for day 12. It's possibly my favorite pattern. It is actually the fastest pattern as well, since it will be closest to Christmas. It's absolutely adorable, and it's going to not be anything you expect, I hope. So I hope to see you in tomorrow's tutorial. If not, I hope to see you in the next tutorial that you click. Bye!